Gaza hostages enjoy surprise vacation. In the densely packed, ever-dramatic land of Gaza, where the sun rises with a daily promise of both chaos and comedy, a new saga unfolded that would be remembered as the Gaza hostage crisis, with a twist that only satire could love. It all started when a group of well-meaning but somewhat directionally challenged tourists accidentally wandered into what they thought was a local guided tour of historical tunnels. Instead, they found themselves in the labyrinthine hideouts of the local freedom fighters of fun, a group known more for their penchant for pranks than for political posturing. The tourists, led by Bob from Boise, who was known back home for his love of adventure and a questionable sense of direction, suddenly realized they were surrounded not by historical artifacts but by a group of masked individuals who were surprisingly polite for kidnappers. "Welcome to the Gaza adventure experience," exclaimed their leader, Ahmed, who was trying hard not to laugh through his mask. The hostages, expecting the worst, were instead treated to a day unlike any other. They were served hummus so good it could end wars, if only it were shared more often. They played endless rounds of hide and seek in the tunnels, a game that, surprisingly, would later be pitched to the Olympics. Meanwhile, back in the civilized world, the news broke with the headline, "Gaza hostage crisis, tourists held captive." Diplomats scrambled, negotiators were flown in, and the UN held emergency meetings. But the hostages? They were having the time of their lives. Bob, now the unofficial spokesperson for the group, was interviewed via a smuggled smartphone. "Honestly, we thought we were going to die of boredom at first," he said, munching on a falafel, "but this has been the best cultural immersion experience of our lives. We've learned card tricks, dance moves, and even some Arabic. I might start a blog about it." Negotiations for their release were underway, but the demands were baffling. No money was requested. Instead, the captors asked for a lifetime supply of bubble tea, a PlayStation 5 for each member of the group, and an apology from the world for not appreciating their sense of humor. After days of this cultural exchange, the hostages were finally released, not because of any international pressure but because they had accidentally won the local talent show with a performance blending American line dancing with traditional Palestinian dabka. The tourists returned home, laden with souvenirs, stories, and an odd affection for their captors. The incident was dubbed by local media as the Gaza hospitality crisis, where the hostages were more upset to leave than to have been taken. In the end, Bob from Boise wrote his blog, which became a bestseller titled, "Held Hostage by Laughter, My Gaza Adventure." And the freedom fighters of fun? They opened a legitimate tour company, promising the most unexpected adventure in Gaza, with a disclaimer that kidnappings might occur for your entertainment. And thus, peace was brought to the region, not through guns or diplomacy, but through the universal language of laughter and really good hummus.